Guys, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. It's April 2019. So please, subscribe and smash that like button. Let's start the video. Boop.
Brain mates! Hey everybody, my name is Jordan, I'm from Jordan and you are watching The Jordan Show. Today we are talking about what race our people from the Middle East and North Africa are. Right? We don't know. Actually, I'm from Jordan. I'm an Arab. That's what I think I am. But what? I don't understand what does that mean exactly, So yeah, this guy is going to tell us what's going on right now. So let's start the video. Roll it!
That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
This is probably going to be one of the most complicated and nuanced questions regarding race that I've ever raised on this channel. And that is, what race are people from the Middle East and North Africa? Now, normally
I know, yeah. What are we really? I really don't understand. Like, is being Arab is a race? I don't know. Because like if you try to register to some kind of website and they ask you what race are you, there's no Middle Eastern, there's no Arab, it's always like white, Hispanic, or blah 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 blah. Like I think even in the United States, Arabs are considered whites legally, I guess.
describe the Middle East proper as all of the land east of Europe, south of Russia, west of South Asia, and north of Africa. So it would include all of the Arabian Peninsula, Iran, Turkey, the Levant, and the Caucasus Mountain region. However, the region of the greater Middle East that all have ethnic, cultural, and geographic traits in common with each other can be extended much further than this. And this would include Afghanistan, the western half of Pakistan, Tajikistan, and pretty much all of North Africa.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. It's just really weird. Again, we're still in the beginning of the video, but I don't think being Arab is a race. I think it's something else. So let's see what's gonna happen.
The people from this area share a common history, racial origin, but most famously, this is often considered to be the heart of the Muslim world, with the majority of Muslims living in the greater Middle East region. Now, I want to make this very clear, though. Muslim is not a race. I don't know how many times this will have to be repeated before the mainstream media will understand this. Islam is a religion that Muslims follow, just like Christians.
Islam is not a race, just to be clear, And that's fucking crazy because it's really hard for non-Arab Muslims to, deal with things. Because, the biggest Muslim country is Indonesia, in terms of population, by the way. So, like, the most Muslims actually are not Arab. Yeah, they're Asians.
Christianity and Christians. Judaism has a bit more complex history of intertwining ethnicity and religion, but that's a video for another day. Most of you know how I feel about Islam, but regardless, I feel like it's incredibly disrespectful and ignorant to refer to someone's race as Muslim when there are thousands of different ethnic groups in the Muslim world and Muslims of every color from around the world. Although there is one place in the world where people identify ethnically as Muslim, that is the former area of Yugoslavia in the Balkan Peninsula.
What? I don't know about that. Wow, this is very interesting. It is really interesting. So, the race is Muslim in Yugoslavia.
And that's only because they're actually ethnically Bosniak, who are a Slavic ethnic group related to the Serbs and Croatians, but some choose to identify as Muslim on the official government censuses. Confusing, I know, but now that we got that out of the way, it's important to note that the greater Middle East has hundreds of different ethnic groups from many different macro ethnicities. I define a macro ethnicity as a larger group that contains several different ethnic groups that have relation to or descend from one another. They range from the Iranian peoples of the Iranian Plateau, not to be confused with Persians, who are a
Oh my god, this guy knows what he's talking about. So there's difference between Iranians and Persians. I didn't know that.
distinct ethnic group from Iranian peoples, the Semitic peoples of the Arabian Peninsula, not to be confused with Jews, the Turkic peoples of Anatolia, and the Berber peoples from the Maghreb. Pretty much all of these groups I just mentioned overwhelmingly follow Islam, so it is understandable to an extent for why someone might think that Muslim was a race at first, but there's plenty of people out there that should know better, but still use the term Muslim when referring to someone's race or ethnicity. Again, it's different for Jews, who are both an ethnic group and a religious group,
Yeah, it's
or
an
an
ethno-religious
ethno-religious
group.
group, but that would require an entire video to explain. Now, all of the people groups that I mentioned earlier do tend to have similar facial features, skin color, hair color, and texture, although it does vary greatly by region. For instance, someone from Armenia, which is commonly considered to be in the Middle East, would probably have a much lighter skin color than someone from Sudan, which is generally considered to be an Arab country, even though they have considerable admixture from sub-Saharan Africans. Some Berber groups from North Africa, especially the Cable people, are extremely fair-skinned, and many even have blonde hair and blue eyes, making them nearly indistinguishable from many of the people native to southern European countries like Spain, Portugal, or Italy. In fact, ever since France colonized Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, many Berbers have been integrating into French society for hundreds of years, and many have actually hidden their true North African origins. Which brings me to my next point, that because the Middle East really is in the middle of this supercontinent that is Afro-Eurasia, they border many diverse groups, the different groups from different areas of the region.
Yeah, dude, it's really weird, you know? Like, one family you can find, like, seriously, one family, siblings, right? You can find, you know, the brown one, you can find the fair skin, white person with blonde hair and blue eyes. You can find, in the same family, you can find, like, an African looking sibling for them. It's really interesting. Like, yeah, this is something, you know. It's just we're used to it here in the Middle East. Like, even like more likely Asian looking Arabs. There's a lot of them too. It's just really, to be honest, like, yeah, it's just weird. You don't get used to it because it's somehow not that common, but still it happens, you know. And when you just look to your friends and like all of them are like brothers, I'm like, how did this happen? And like, what the fuck just happened here? But yeah, it's just because it's the Middle East. It's literally the middle of the whole fucking planet, and everybody's here. They were just fucking all over the place, and yeah, you know, genetics mixed, and that's what happened.
Region are going to have various amounts of admixture from the surrounding racial groups. For instance, Maronites in Lebanon, who are a Catholic Christian ethnic group, often have European DNA that can be traced all the way back to the Crusades 1,000 years ago, when many Western European nations attempted to reconquer the area of the Levant, or they may have European ancestry from much more recent French settlers and colonists. The Tajik people from Afghanistan and Tajikistan are technically the same ethnicity as Persians from Iran, and they speak pretty much the same language, although normally they have much more East Asian admixture because of their proximity to China and Central Asia. The Pashtuns and Balochs of Western Pakistan are actually an Iranian ethnic group related to Persians, but often have admixture from the neighboring Indo-Aryans or Dravidians from India. Most notably,
This is really complicated, you know. Why it's always very complicated with the Middle Easterns? Like, seriously, it's really complicated. Like, everybody is just, but because it's always, it has always been the Middle East, you know, for everybody until now, and it's really, we talked about this before. It's really tiring, guys. It's just, it's just there's too much attention from, and also like it didn't help us that they found a lot of fucking oil around here. It just fucking didn't help. Like we thought that we found a new world and everybody will just give a shit about that part of the planet, but then they found the fucking oil, and everybody has their attention to this area right now. It's annoying as fuck.
Self-described Arabs from countries such as Sudan, Yemen, and Saudi Arabia often have partial African descent from over 1,000 years of the Arab slave trade. Also important to note is that Middle Easterners have been migrating and exchanging genetics within their own region for thousands of years, with many Arabs spreading out to replace the native Berbers of North Africa, and many Turks also moving into territories of the former Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
Possibly most fascinating of all is that there are regions of the world that used to be considered a part of the Middle East because they had Middle Eastern populations, but they were actually replaced. For instance, the northern Caucasus region in Russia actually used to be inhabited by the Adig people, but they were actually forced down into Turkey by the invading Russians.
Wow.
The Canary Islands in Spain, actually, believe it or not, used to have a native population before the Spaniards migrated there. They were called the Gauch people, and they were closely related to the Berbers of modern North Africa. They didn't disappear completely, however, and their genetics can still be found in most of the people living in the Canary Islands today. So yes, Middle Easterners are a very mixed group indeed, with such a huge variance in phenotypes of physical appearance that it would be damn near impossible to place exactly which country someone in the region was from just by looking at it.
There's no way.
For about the past 60 years.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way. I promise you. Nobody will ever guess where I'm from. Like even if they say maybe you're an Arab, you know, which mostly I don't get. I get mostly I'm like Brazil, Colombia, Spain. Yeah, when I'm traveling, it's always like that. Before I say, hey, I'm Jordan from Jordan, they're like, hey, can you guess where I'm from? They always get it wrong.
70 years in the United States Census, people with ancestry from the greater Middle East were counted under white. Which...
I just talked about this, right? It's fucking crazy. Why the fuck did they count us as white? It's I don't know exactly what's the fucking situation, but there was like some like interesting political issue with that, you know, because they don't count them as minorities.
Put them in the same category as Europeans and Jews. However, many Middle Eastern Americans protested this decision after the last census in 2010, and they will most likely have their own racial category of Middle Eastern and North African, or MENA for short. And just in my own personal experience, I've found that Middle Eastern people that are Christian tend to identify as white far more often than Middle Easterners that are Muslims, which probably helps perpetuate this myth that Muslim is a race. Oh, and by the way, it's almost impossible to pinpoint just how many Middle Eastern Americans there actually are because of the lack of their own racial category in the census. Estimates range from 3 to up to 9 million in the United States in the current year of 2017. And it's unknown if people of partial descent from the region, such as myself, being 1/8 Galaki and 1/8 Azeri, would be included in this count. So do I feel like it's fair to categorize all people from the greater Middle East region into one single race for statistical purposes? Well, I feel like it's about as fair as categorizing all people from sub-Saharan Africa as black, even though the situation is much, much more complex than that, an issue that I've actually done an entire video on. Alright, that'll about wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of what race Middle Easterners are, and maybe learned something new. If you agree, disagree, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. This has been Mason. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Oh my god. Hey, this guy is fucking awesome. I love his videos. And I also like his voice. It makes some kind of authority. It makes him have some kind of authority. And yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Seriously, like, you can't understand I think I have to do a DNA test. I didn't do it yet, and that's a video for you guys. I have to do a DNA test because it will be really interesting to understand where the fuck I am from, because I have no fucking idea where I'm from. Even like going back, my family is one of the biggest families in the Arab world, okay? It's like, there's like 1 million people from the same surname family, okay? And we are everywhere, just absolutely everywhere, okay? And I can just go back like maybe eight grandfathers, and yeah, we were in Palestine before the invasion, you know, before the occupation of Palestine. I don't know where, but you know, some people say we're from Egypt, like as a family we started in Egypt, and some people say it's North Africa. I don't know where the fuck we're from. I know nothing. I have nothing. I have no idea where we're from. So like maybe that's a DNA test for you guys and for me to find out. We should do it, yeah? What do you think? Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and smash that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace the fuck out. See ya! Thank you guys for sponsoring this video through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. Especially Matthew Mann for sponsoring this video and many others.
That's my best friend.